Hi, welcome to Grammar Video 5. I'm going to try to do this in one take because I think you can see my dog sitting behind me, Dexter, famous Dexter of many of the videos. So I'll try to make this one the right one so that it's the one I can show you guys. All right, Grammar Video 5, complex sentences with noun clauses. This is our last type of dependent clause. A noun, as we know, is often the subject or object of a sentence. It's a part of speech, noun. Noun clauses act like nouns. They're dependent clauses that function as nouns. They're often part of an independent clause of a sentence. And in those sentences, they will function as subjects or objects. This makes them different from adjective and adverb clauses in that they will be unremovable or necessary to the sentence. They will be part of the independent clause. So that makes them a little different. We'll look at more about why in a moment. Examples: what the kitten wanted was tuna. Elizabeth believed that more tuna would be egregious. We pray that measures to counter climate change will be successful. All those bolded phrases are noun clauses. All right, very important and different from adjective and adverb clauses. The first two types we talked about are that you never use a comma to separate a noun clause from the independent or main clause. This is different from adverb and adjective clauses, which are often separated from the independent clause by a comma. Noun clauses are more necessary to the sentences they are part of than the adjective or adverb clause. That's why they're never separated by commas. I mean, it's pretty simple to remember. They're just never separated. They're not incidental extra information. They are more important. They are not removable. They're not separated by a comma. So consider the difference between the clauses here. Adverb clause: although Paul is coming late, he is bringing a cheese dip. Paul, adjective clause: Paul, who is coming late, is bringing cheese dip. Noun clause: that Paul is bringing cheese dip is exciting for everyone. The subject is underlined in each of those. So in the adverb clause sentence, he is the subject. It's not in the adverb clause. In the adjective clause sentence, Paul is the subject. It's not in the adjective clause. In the noun clause sentence, the noun clause is the subject. That Paul is bringing cheese dip. It's an activity, it's a truth that is functioning as the subject of the sentence. The main verb is. We couldn't remove it because then we'd have a sentence that said, is exciting for everyone, and we'd all want to say, what is exciting for everyone? Another note I put down here is that almost never, like really almost never, will you have a single comma between a subject and a verb. So we couldn't put a comma here in between dip and is because that would be a single comma between the subject and the main verb is. So some types. The most frequent type is a that clause. A that clause is a dependent noun clause that begins with that. For example, the young bird hopes that the wind will be light today. You can sometimes omit the that if the meaning is clear without it. You can't omit that when it's when the noun clause, the that noun clause is the first thing in the sentence. Correct, the young bird hopes that the wind will be light today. Correct, the young bird hopes the wind will be light today. Correct, that a sea view is refreshing is beyond doubt. Incorrect, a sea view is refreshing is beyond doubt. Places a that clause can appear: after the independent clause verb, this is the most common. The Declaration of Independence states that all men are created equal. So it's functioning as the direct object of the sentence, the object of the verb it's following. After certain adjectives, usually adjectives that describe emotions like happy, glad, proud, sad, upset, worried, ecstatic is in the example. The class was ecstatic that they could watch grammar videos. That's my joke. After certain nouns like theory, thought, notion, statement, assertion, few agreed with Bombadil's opinion that tuna was a perfect food. At the beginning of a sentence, some people think these sound funny, but they're actually a cool way to write, in my opinion. It's a that clause at the beginning of a sentence functioning as a subject. That kittens are furry is proven. If whether clauses, another type of noun clause. They begin with either the subordinator whether or if. Whether is more formal than if. 5 possible patterns. The dog wanted to know whether the cat likes playing frisbee. The dog wanted to know whether or not the cat likes playing frisbee. The dog wanted to know whether the cat likes playing frisbee or not. The dog wants to know if the cat likes playing frisbee. The dog wants to know if the cat likes playing frisbee or not. These are similar to the next kind we're going to look at in that they could be questions if they weren't embedded in a sentence. Question clauses are questions that are turned into parts of sentences as noun clauses. They begin with subordinators such as who, what, when, where, why, how much, how long, etc. Essentially, they're questions embedded in non-question sentences turned into a declarative sentence. How much will dog food cost in 2075 is a question. Here's how to turn it into a noun clause. I asked the future expert, I'm imagining like a person who's an expert on the future. I asked the future expert how much dog food would cost in 2075. Question, where is France? I considered where France was and realized that I didn't know. I do know where France is. There are two possible patterns for these. In the first, the subordinator, the subordinating word is the subject of the clause. So in this sentence, the police do not know who committed the robbery. Here, who is the subject, committed is the verb. In the second pattern, the subordinator is not the subject of the clause. The police do not know when the robbery happened. Here, when is the subordinating word, but the robbery would be the subject and happened the verb. So here's a review of the different kinds. We didn't talk about the subjunctive noun clause kind, but I threw that in there. So when you download the notes, you can look at this longer, but I'll scroll past to explain your homework. So this page instructs you on writing 12 different sentences with noun clauses. Read it through. Write 12 sentences of your own using noun clauses. Make sure a way to check whether they're actually noun clauses when you're done is to ensure or to check whether they have both a subject and a verb in them. So write the supposed noun clause, then look back and say where is the subject, where is the verb. If you find them there and are sure they're subjects and verbs, then you have a noun clause. Never put a comma in between a noun clause and the rest of the sentence. Have a nice day.